Hello, and welcome to Sowing the Word Ministries and Conversations about Marriage. My name is Charles Perkins, and the title of this message is Life After the Breakup. My wife and I have been married for 35 years. When I was young, I thought I knew what love was. Maybe I did, but what I didn't know is what love can become. That knowledge comes only with time. The love that we now have is far beyond anything that I ever dreamed possible. We are together for the duration. Now, having said that, there was a time, many years ago, when my beard was black and my waistline was a few inches smaller, that I was married before. My first wife and I got married in Texas right after I got out of the Air Force. She was a singer and I was a musician, so it seemed like a match. It was. It was a mental wrestling match. Since entertainment was our life, we decided to come to California where I grew up so that we could hopefully exploit our talents. There's an old blues song that says, bright lights, big city, gone to my baby's head. And that's what happened. She came out here from Texas and got California slick, as we used to say back then. It wasn't that she didn't love me. It's just that she didn't love only me a whole lot of times. During that 2.5-year period of my life, I experienced feelings I never thought I would. Pain, hurt, anger, jealousy, frustration, none of which make for a happy marriage. The thing is, I went through those emotions during the marriage. When I decided that enough was finally enough, I wasn't angry, hurt, or jealous. There was no pain, no frustration, no self-pity. There was only acceptance. I didn't want the kind of lifestyle she wanted. I no longer wanted her to stop doing what she was doing. It made her happy. She just couldn't do it with me any longer. And that reality made me happy. I accepted that and let her live her life. And I went on to make my life. Now I have to admit, when the divorce was final, I had what I call my emancipation party that lasted till 6 the next morning. I learned some things though back then. I learned that you can't force someone to love you or to do the right thing by threats, warnings, or jealousy. Telling someone what they better not do or what they better stop doing doesn't stop them from doing it. Either they love you enough or they don't. It's their choice. They will do the right thing or not based upon that choice. If they don't, then you have to make a decision as to whether the relationship is worth salvaging or not. I know some great marriages that have overcome adultery, spousal abuse, drugs, neglect. Anything is possible with God's help. The thing is, God was not a part of my first marriage. I wasn't seeking him, and neither was she. Once my marriage was over, though, I didn't carry forward suspicion. By that I mean is I didn't place what my first wife did on other women. I know both men and women who don't trust their spouses because of what happened in previous relationships. You can miss out on the possibility of a great love if you hold the person you're with now responsible for what a past partner did. All men and all women are in most cases just silly phrases. The thing is, sometimes people become creatures of habit. The reason why it seems like all men are and all women are is because people tend to go to the same places, meet the same kind of men, the same kind of women that they've always met. A lady who used to work for me was certain that all men were dogs. When I asked her, where do you go to meet men? It was singles bars. Now I reminded her that men mostly go to singles bars to hunt like hounds. So, if you're going to the pound, why are you surprised to find dogs? If you want to change results, change the action. The Bible says that God hates divorce. That's true. But remember, divorce is not the unforgivable sin. God forgives and restores. No matter how hard you try, some relationships just won't work out. It's not that they can't, it's that they don't because one or both parties refuse to make it work. If that sounds like your marriage, it will probably end in divorce and it will probably hurt. Not probably, it will hurt because divorce is painful. But life doesn't have to stop there. If you get a divorce, don't define yourself as somebody's ex anything. You are a person starting out on a new adventure in life. Don't carry around the burden of guilt and failure. It didn't work out. Allow God to rebuild you. God brings us to conviction, not guilt. Conviction draws us closer to Him. Guilt pushes us away in shame. Forgive your spouse. Forgive your spouse. Don't allow bitterness and unforgiveness to build up inside because it will stop you from having any kind of productive life, any kind of productive relationship. And don't go around bad-mouthing your spouse to your friends and relatives and making yourself into the eternal victim. Victims are always at somebody else's mercy. Victims are always under someone else's control. Yes, you were hurt, and you may have been hurt pretty badly. But do you really want to continue to suffer by continually feeding your hurt? Don't live a lifelong self-pity party. Spend some time dealing with your pain, your anger, your disappointment. Go to counseling if you have to, and then move on. One of the hardest parts of divorce for me was trying to comfort the people in my life who cared for me. They were all feeling bad for me because they thought I was sitting at home feeling bad for myself. I wasn't. I just had to figure some things out, and I knew that the answers to those questions weren't in the streets. So, as a result of their concern, I was constantly draining myself, trying to cheer them up. Divorce is not a pleasant subject. It's not one that can be dealt with in a light manner or in one online article. I'm not trying to give an all-in-all answer or a quick fix resolution. I'm just sharing my story and my experience with you in hopes that it can encourage some of you. Divorce is complicated. There are settlements, sometimes there's child support, complicated relationships with each other's relatives and mutual friends, any number of things. No, divorce is not easy at all. And I'm glad, so very glad that the Lord blessed me with a sense of humor so that I could laugh off a lot of things that very easily could have brought tears. Instead of focusing on the mess I was in, I was able to see the opportunity for taking that mess and molding it into a new life. I just wanted to encourage someone who's going through this or has gone through this. With marriage, it's always better to have the triumph of overcoming rather than the tragedy of divorce. But sometimes in life we lose a battle. Doesn't mean that we have lost the war. There are always casualties and victories. Your life doesn't have to end with divorce. Mine didn't.